DJI Fly app deep dive. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Take off.
Let's go. See, there's a train coming there. Look, I'm looking down at the train. See, I'm not moving the drone. I'm just looking down. I'm using this wheel right here. Move the wheel up. I'm looking up. Move the wheel down. I'm looking down. See it? Work that wheel, people. If you move the left stick to the left, basically, you're just spinning around left. You can't hit anything because you're orbiting on your axis. Push it to the right, you're just spinning around on the right, like the Earth on its axis. I don't know which way the Earth spins, but you get the point. You can go up, you can't hit anything. Well, you could hit a plane. Be careful how high you go up. And the left stick brings it back down. This is the basics. If I want to get close to the building, I can sink, baby. I can sink. Let's go. If you want to get close to the buildings, you just push up on the right stick to fly forward, and you pull back on the right stick to fly backwards or to come back to you. You push the right stick to the right side. Be careful, you're flying sideways. You can fly sideways into something. You can't see what's at the side of you. You can only see what's in front, so bear that in mind. So the right stick to go left, you'll slide to the left. See? Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Slide to the right. Very simple, very basic, but make sure you look left to see what's on your left before you slide into something on the left. Look to your right to see what's on your right before you slide into something on the right. There's a button right under here. You click that button, bang, you hit record. Click it again, you stop record. So there's manual triggers over here to start and stop recording. You can also hit this red button on the screen, bang, and that starts and stops recording. All right, now if you go into photo mode by pressing the function button, you switch over to photo mode. See the function button right here, the little one on the by the right stick, that toggles back between record and photo. Photos are white, record is red. All right, so you toggle back and forth with this button. Let's go over to photos, and then you hit this button right there, bang, you snap a photo. You can look down and then snap the photo, look up, bang, snap the photo. Snap as many shots as you want. Hit the function button again. Let's hit record, bang, we're recording a video. It's as simple as that. This button right here, that's your return to home. Press it and hold it.
Go home.
Okay, tap it. Stop that function. Pause right where you are. You don't do anything until I tell you to do it. Okay, press and hold.
Go home.
Tap to stop. And when you tap that button, it stops anything that's going on at any given time. To the left here, we have cinematic mode. Use that if you want nice, smooth, rolling video, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'll do a cinematic video, but let's not focus on that too much. Going the middle here is for normal flying, which you would want to use as a beginner, get the hang of the controls and stuff. And to the right, you have sports mode, baby. Sports mode's when you need juice, when you're trying to get from point A to point B really fast. This does not give you smooth motion. Only use this if you're fighting wind, because this is a very small and light drone, and if you have to fight wind, jump into sports mode. All right, so if you're in video mode, red circle over there, see the red circle, and you hold this function button down. Let's hold it down. I'm holding it, my finger's on it. Okay, I use this next finger right here. Ooh, I just punched in, baby. I just punched in with the zoom. Ooh, punch out. Kill him with the punch in and the punch out. Zoom in. As a matter of fact, let's look for a better view. Zoom out. Oh, that bridge looks pretty far when you zoom out. Let's aim for these buildings over here, right? Just press and hold the button. Punch in. Ooh, punch out. There you go, right? Let me see what type of video I'm in. Oh, I'm in 4K. So 4K, I got what? 2x zoom, I could hit this little button right there, boom, 2x zoom. If I go into 1080p, which we'll talk about as a beginner, just jump into 1080p because your computer might not be able to process 4K. 4K is a big heavy dude, right? Nice quality, but could take some, you know, some pressure on your computer. So if your computer's not that nice, jump into 1080p. And the beauty with 1080p is that if I hold this and I scroll inwards, oh my gosh, I've got 4x zoom. That is ridiculous. I can't even make out what's going on over there. Now you do lose quality because 1080p is not that crisp. All right, but you can also tap here, go to 2, tap, go to 3, tap, go to 4, and back to 1. So if you don't like holding the function button and scrolling the wheel, there's always the tap on the screen, right? Whichever one works for you. Okay, so you got your maps here. You can minimize it with the little arrows. Just tap on it to open it up back. Tap on it again to bring it out fully wide. Tap on the picture to bring back the picture. Tap on the little arrow here to minimize it down back again. The H there's your height, how high you are in feet, and your distance, how far you are out from the controller or where you took off from. That's your distance, right? At the bottom here, this little circle here, this little circle at the bottom here, that's you. And the little radiation that you see coming out from the circle, that's your strength of your antenna. You want that strength of that antenna pointing towards the drone. Right now mine is not pointing towards the drone. That's the stream you want. You want that antenna with that radiation pointing at the drone. The back of the plane there, like the paper plane, that's the back of the drone. Spin it around. Now guess what? The drone is pointed towards me. Right now, if you're having inaccuracies here with this this diagram right here, this instrument, I should say, to help you locate yourself, it's very simple. All you need to do is recalibrate the compass on your phone. That could be a little difficult depending on which phone you have. Do some research, find your compass in your phone, recalibrate it, and that should help you get a more accurate readout from that little diagram. Worst case scenario, you could jump over to the maps, click on it here, and always fly your way back home from using the triangle. The red mark is the direction in which I flew out. All I need to do is turn around the drone back again. See that? Push forward towards the red mark, and bam, fly back home. H is home, right? It's very simple. So you can fly like a blind guy, just in case these little instruments at the bottom here in the circle there is not working for any reason. All right, so instruments is good, safety is important. To the right here, you have time on your SD card. EV now is my exposure value. I press that, and if I go into the plus, basically the image gets brighter. This is as bright as it can get because the place is getting dark. I go into the negative, and then the image gets darker. Ideally, you want this set at 0 so it's not too dark or it's not too bright, right? But you could tweak it if you want things a little brighter or darker, right? You could switch from auto to manual. See, I just switched from to the M there. Don't go in the M if you're a beginner, right? Learn how to fly the drone, and then you can learn to work the camera, right? If you want me to make a video on this, let me know. I'll make a video about this, all right? The camera settings. And if you like how it looks, just lock it. Hit that AE lock and lock it. It's not going to get brighter on you. It's not going to get darker on you. It's going to stay just the way it is right now, right? So you don't have to worry about things. Oh, it's getting, as you hit brighter lights, it brightens up. As you go to a darker area, it darkens up. No, it's going to stay a natural progression of bright and dark as long as you lock your exposure, right? And if you don't lock it as a beginner, guess what? Not a big deal anyway. All right, the camera does a pretty good job. That's what you paid your shebang, your bucks for. Now moving up, you got the playback. I go into the playback. I can look at, hey, I can look at my videos that I took, hit play. Yeah, while the drone is flying, you can do that. You can hit this cut button here, and well, you would have to download it, and you can download the video from the drone that's being recorded onto your phone, right? So I'm gonna hit download just to see how fast. I mean, OcuSync's pretty fast. Now I hit that little scissors icon at the bottom there. It's going to transcode it and get it ready and put it in the editor. In the editor, you can add music and stuff like that. Tap to add music. I'm not going to get too deep into this. Made a video about it. Check it up here, how to use the editor. Okay, so if you're a beginner, so I'm just going to exit, go back. You can also look at your photos. It's not only your videos show up. Just bear in mind you have to download it first. This button on the left here, you hit that, you have a choice, land or hover. I'm not going to land because I don't want to land in the train yard, right? or I can hit return to home and come back home. It's optional, right? I can press and hold it when the green circle hits, and don't forget your pause button. You can always cancel anything, right? To the top here, you have 4K video. Then you got 2.7 video at the touch of a button. Then you got the 1080p where you want to hang out if you're a beginner until you get the hang of shooting video, right? Now, 1080p, you have all different frame rates. You got 30, you got 48, you got up to 60 FPS, guys. This is ridiculous. 60 FPS, 2.7K, you have up to 30 FPS, and 4K, you have up to 30 FPS. I like to hang out at 24. That's the cinematic motion blur that the eyes are used to from watching television. We usually can replicate that at 24 FPS. So that's where you want to be hanging out. So moving at the bottom of videos here, we got quick shots. With the quick shots now, like the droney that you see on the screen, I'll do a separate video for that, but these are pretty simple. You draw a box around yourself and bang, you can do some cool stuff by just hitting that green start button. But if you need a tutorial about it, let me know in the comment section below. We got droney, we got rocket. Rocket is where it goes up above you and do some stuff. We got circle, where it circles you, as you can see in the video here. And you got this one helix. It's like a boomerang kind of effect, swirls around. Nice, cool stuff. Especially you could do this if you're traveling, right? Not so much of a big city kind of a shot, but yeah, if you're out in the beaches and the mountains, pretty beautiful. And all these things you can adjust how far it goes out, and this one goes out much further than the original Mini. The original Mini didn't go out this far. Look how far this goes, up to 380 feet. That's pretty far out, right? So you got a lot more range on these quick shots compared to Mini 1. All right, so after the quick shots, now we got pano. This is a pretty new feature to the Mini, of course. Do I want the sphere? Do I want the 180? Or do I want the wide? Let's go with the sphere. I want the whole earth, man. Give me the whole earth. Make this thing into a beautiful earthly thing, right? Hit the play button. Go take a look at it. Enhancing photo. Ooh, baby, give it to me. Ooh, yeah. Let's double tap on that. Get me into that panel world. Oh, I got the whole world at my fingertips, boy. Let's go. Oh my gosh, not bad. Not bad, Mini 2. Not bad. Play with it. It's exciting. Enjoy it. And you don't have to take the whole globe. You could do a 180 wide. You could do just a regular wide angle. Just as you see, you just tap the button and let it do its thing, right? Pretty simple. So now the next mode is photos. You just slide right up to photos. And there you have your options to the left of that. You could take a single shot, or you can use AEB, auto exposure bracketing. You take 3 different shots at 3 different exposures. That means one at 0 exposure, which is balance. One could be +3 exposure, which is a little bright, and one could be -3 exposure, which is a little dark. You combine them all and you get all different details in the darks and in the lights, because you shot at the pluses and the minus, and you combine all 3 photos in a photo room. So it's like a professional thing, right? If you want, I can make a video about that too, but you guys gotta let me know in the comment section, okay? And then of course you've got time shots. Time shots means once you initiate that, see the circle says 2S, 2 seconds. You slide it over to 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds it's going to automatically take a photo for you. Automatically. Slide it over to 7 seconds. Every 7 seconds, automatically. You don't have to touch the button. It's just gonna snap a photo every 7 seconds. All right, so I'll go single because that's usually the way to start, and photos are a great way to start when you have a drone or you're new to drones. It's easy to snap and the literally touch of a button to share. Let's look at the top left where it says end normal and in flight. You tap on that. So my return to home altitude is 328. So if I fly far out and I hit that home button, the drone's gonna go to 328 feet and then return home. All right, I did a whole video on that. Check this card up here, how to set your return home. Make sure you don't smack into anything. Max altitude, I'm gonna max mine out because I don't like restrictions, right? Max distance, I'm gonna max mine out. But if you want to set restrictions on yourself, So you could take things nice and slow. It's good to know you could do that at the tap of a button. Your SD card shows you how much space you have in there. And of course, the flight status at the top shows you if everything is normal. If that changes, you'll know there's a problem. You're better off just coming back and land as fast as possible. To the top there, the green circle, it says 89. That's my battery life is at 89%. RC is my signal strength quality. This is the antenna here that's pitching out to the drone. How strong of a quality am I getting? And next to that, where it says 21, that's the satellites right there. That's how much satellites I'm connected to. That's what's keeping me in position, so I don't even have to touch the sticks, and the drone stays right where it is. It's the satellite communication that helps it to stay in place. Now, these three dots at the top right, that's where the fun begins. First, with safety. This teaches you this shows you again your maximum altitude, distance, your return to home height. You should set all those things before you take off. If you want to update your home point, hit this arrow right there. I do not want to update because I'm over the train yard, and I don't want it to go back home over the train yard. I want it to come back right to me. But if you ever move, say you're in a car, somebody's driving the car, you're chasing the car, and then you went a mile from where you are right here, right? You're flying and somebody else is driving, just hit that update home point, and it will update to wherever you are with the car, so that way it doesn't fly a mile back to where you started driving looking for you. Okay, so that's what that feature is for. Then you got your compass, which is normal. You should calibrate it. Your IMU, you should calibrate that for the first time. I have videos here. Go into the Mavic Mini playlist, and I went through all that stuff before, right? Or just message me in the comment section. I'll send you a link for it. Update, unlock your geozone. That's if you're flying in areas that need to be unlocked. You can update it through there. That's a separate video to talk about that. Remote identification, that's coming next year, so I don't even want to touch on that. Then you have your find your drone on their safety. If you ever lose your drone, you need to find it. Hit find my drone, and it will pull up a map and show you exactly where your drone is on the map, right? And then you hit that little black button there, says start flashing and beeping, and your drone will start beeping. So as you get closer to it, you'll hear the beeping, and hopefully you can find your drone. Okay, so that's a great way to find out. You have battery info here, shows you how much times your battery was charged, serial number of your battery, temperature and voltage. That's good. You can check on those things. And then you have advanced settings at the bottom here. If signal is lost, return home. Yes, that's usually the safest way to go. Not descend. No, you lose signal, you don't want to descend, right? Especially if you're flying over water. Hover, you can do it depending on if you're doing like professional jobs, or if you're flying indoors, you could want to select hover. But normally it's return to home, so leave it there. Emergency propeller stop. If you bring these two sticks down and in, right, the drone will shut off, and if it's flying, fall out of the sky. But in emergency only. If you put it to anytime, then anytime you hit those sticks down and in, it's dropping. So if I were you, I would keep it in emergency only, right? So that way your drone doesn't suddenly drop out on the sky on you when you're flying and you're touching the sticks and you're like, well, what happened? Well, you took it out of emergency mode and put it in anytime mode, right? Payload mode is for if you're flying with your Mavic Mini propeller guards, right? Now, the Mini does not come with propeller guards, not in the standard package or the Fly More package, but you can buy it on the DJI side. The Mini 1 propeller guards also work with this. I tried it today. So if you're flying in tight areas and tight spaces, I made a video about it. Check this link right here. You will enjoy using the propeller guards. All right, so if you're going to use the propeller guards, turn that on. If you're not, I'm not using propeller guards, I'm not going to turn that on. You only want propeller guards in tight spaces and indoor locations. That's about it. And you don't want to fly too high, and you don't want to fly too high with propeller guard. All right, so let's get out of here. That's it for safety in a nutshell. Next comes control. Control now means imperial, metric. What do you want, right? I'm an imperial guy, right? I don't use km, I don't use meters per second, I use miles per hour. So I set it on imperial. Depending on which country you're in, you'll know what to set it to. Front LED lights can breathe, or they can do a rainbow, or they can disable. You can choose colors, whatever color you want it to light up on. This should be like a teal kind of a color. That should go orange. I don't know if you could see the colors from here, but I can. This should go purple. It is changing to purple. That's pretty cool. That's a cool little quirky feature, kind of gimmicky but fun. to play with, and your gimbal mode, you could choose it to follow or FPV. Follows for cinematic stuff, right? Look at this. To the right, to the left. Nothing weird, right? But now if I go back into safety and I go in FPV mode, look what happens when I push both sticks. Whoa, looks like I'm flying one of those crazy planes or FPV kind of stuff, right? So that's pretty cool if you're looking for the FPV effect. I don't recommend that as a beginner, but that's a pretty cool mode that can give you some, you know, unique shots if you take the time to master it. Upward gimbal rotation, you could toggle that on. All that means, if I push my gimbal up with the wheel, this is the highest it'll go. But if I turn on the upward gimbal rotation, bang, look at this, it goes all the way up. See that? All the way up, right? So it allows the gimbal to go and travel up some more. That's all it is. So I'll turn that off and the gimbal will not go any higher than, well, 0 degrees, which is straight ahead. So we got advanced gimbal settings over here. Now this is pretty cool. You can set your pitch speed, your pitch smoothness, your yaw speed for the drone, all of these. So if you want the drone to move slow, you can increase your yaw speed, and when you yaw to the, look at it, it's like flash over there. Look at that, flash. Right now I will slow down the yaw speed. Now that's more moderate. Look at that. Much more moderate, right? Much more controllable. So you have some pretty unique settings here. The smoothness pitch, meaning how smooth the gimbal pans down, and look at this, right? Slow these two down. Look, I'm at full turn. Look how slow it's moving, right? To look down. Crank this up. Bang, she's moving fast, right? And this here will tell it how to stop. Does it stop abruptly or does it stop slowly, right? So if you're doing nice cinematic videos, you want that smooth roll off, right? Now I'll do a whole cinematic video. Just let me know in the comment section below, okay? All right, so, and you can do it for normal mode. You can have your individual settings for sports mode. Ooh, even for Cinesmooth mode, which is the mode you'll want to set up for anything cinematic. Get it? Cinesmooth, cinematic, they all kind of go in the same sentence. Yeah. So that's it. And you have a reset button at the bottom in case you're like, oh, I mixed things up. Just hit reset and everything goes back to the way it was when you first purchased the drone. So no stress in there. All right, so that's pretty much it. You got stick mode. I leave it on mode 2 because that's the mode that I learned and most people fly in. But what it does is change what each stick does. So it changes up, right? So if to fly forward now, I use the left stick to go forward, whereas before I was using the right stick. If you're a gamer, you might like mode 1. Who knows, right? Just play around with it in a nice big open area and see which mode works for you. And then you have button customization. This little button right here next to the left stick, this function button, you can't really customize it any further, right? That's pretty much it, right? So I can tap, double tap recenters, right? So single tap or double tap, they both do the same thing. You don't have much options there. RC calibration, that's to calibrate your controller. So your drone has to be off in order to calibrate your controller. Most of the time, unless your controller is giving you problems or it's not responding properly, then you'll use RC calibration. But for the most part, no. You have some flight tutorials at the bottom there. Go knock yourself out if you want to learn some more about this stuff. And you have RC pairing to aircraft. Some RCs out of the factory, they don't take the time to pair the controller to the drone. You can hit that blue button right there and that sends this controller to look for the drone, right? You don't want to do that while flying either, right? Especially while you're connected. This is for if you can't connect to the drone and you can't take off. Next is the beauty, the camera. You have camera for photos. Photos, you could take JPEG. JPEG is your regular photo, and then you have JPEG plus RAW. RAW, if you don't even know what that means, then don't worry about it, right? Just leave it in JPEG. But if you are a photographer, you know what RAW means. Yes, you could take a RAW photo with this. That's pretty cool. It unlocks a lot more potential. Size of the photo, do you want 16:9? See how wide the screen is on 16:9? Or do you want 4:3? Look how narrow the shot comes, right? So maybe this is like an Instagram thing, and this is more like a, you know, I don't know, a landscape portrait, screensaver, wallpaper kind of a thing, right? So I like 16:9. I've always been using that, so I'll leave it there. Anti-flicker, that's your refresh rate for the screen. I usually leave it on auto. Histogram, if you're a professional photographer or videographer, you know what the histogram is. That tells you whether stuff is is blown out or it's too bright, meaning you've got too much darks or too much lights, right? If you don't know what the histogram is, you can go and leave it off. It's not a big deal for beginners, but it's a good to know that if you do choose to advance and learn more about cameras and photography and videography, you have a pretty useful tool right there for you in the future. All right, so I'll leave that off. I don't need that. Overexposure warnings. If stuff is too bright, that puts like zebra stripes on your screen. I'm not a big fan of that because I find it to be very distracting when I'm flying, but to each their own. Go ahead and turn that on, and that will give you a clear warning on your screen if things are too bright and you're damaging your image. All right, and then you have the guidelines. I just like the plus or the cross. So you could see, if I look, let me look down, you'll see there's a cross on my screen right there. I use that little cross, right? A lot of photographers like this, right? And a lot of photographers who go for the rule of thirds thing, they like this, the rule of thirds, right? I just like the cross. I could take the cross off too and just leave the rule of thirds, or I can go with the all three on at the same time. The cross too, I could even turn on the cross, lay it all on, all three, the cross, the hex, you name it, right? But for me, to each their own. I just like the little cross. It helps me to know where's the center of where I'm flying, and that's good enough for me. White balance, this is pretty cool. You have auto and you have manual. Now, just to give you a basic concept, if you scroll to the left, your image gets kind of bluey. If you scroll to the right, it gets kind of orangey, right? So if you want to customize your white balance, which I usually like to do, especially when I'm flying at the night, right? I like my white balance a little lower, like around here, 36, 3700, right? But if you're a beginner and you don't want to mess around with that too much, just put it on auto and it'll automatically set it for you. SD card tells you how much is available. Cache when recording, you can turn that on and off. Cache is a very low quality backup image that goes into your phone, and it's a very low quality video that gets backed up into your phone. The only reason that's kind of useful is like if you crash and it's not your fault, you can have the crash image here to show DJI. So you might kind of want to leave that on, but it's not a quality image that you would want to share. If you want to do any sharing, get the image straight from the SD card. That's the best quality you can get out of any drone. 2 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes. When you hit that maximum cache, it'll reset, delete the old cache and start again, right? So I kind of hate deleting cache. I'm going to turn that off because it's annoying. It ends up in my phone and then I always have to sit down and end up deleting it, and I always wonder why it keeps caching because I forget to turn that off. All right, transmission. But this is it. You got dual band. You got 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz transmission. And when you leave it on auto, it'll alternate between 2.4 or 5.8, whichever one is best. You could switch it to manual and adjust your frequency to get the best image. But bear in mind, as you start moving, especially in city environments, frequencies can change. And then you'll find yourself living in here, messing with the manual settings rather than flying. I prefer to leave it in auto. Auto does a great job even in the city. So knock yourself out, whatever you want to do, but auto is good to go. About tells you the name. You could name your drone, your DJI Mavic Mini. Mine is DJI Mini 2. I'm gonna leave it like that. It gives you the model number, tells you the aircraft firmware. You could check for updates here. FlySafe database here, tells you your app version. Make sure you're on 1.2.0 because you're not gonna get the full features from this drone, right? And tells you the amount of time the batteries charge. Gives you your camera serial number, your flight control serial number. Just tells you stuff about the drone. And that's pretty much it. Let me know what videos you want me to make, guys. Let me know, because if not, I'm just gonna be flying my life away. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Fun fact, only 40-something% of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, so that could be you I'm talking to. Subscribe if you haven't, right? It's definitely worth subscribing and showing some support other than just watching. With that being said, I will catch you guys whenever I can. I'm still giving away 6 DJI Mavic 2 Pros or Zooms. Head over to my Patreon account, donate $1, become a patron, and automatically you're entered to win a chance to win one of 6 of those drones. Guys, let's make this happen. Come on, support me and help me support you.